Hello friends, welcome to Sri Saraswati Academy. Today we are going to start new novel The Naughtiest Girl and chapter first. You will have to go to school, Elizabeth, said Mrs. Allen. I think your governess is quite right. You are spoilt and naughty, and although Daddy and I were going to leave you here with Miss Scott, when we went away, I think it would be better for you to go to school. Elizabeth stared at her mother in dismay. What, leave her home and her pony and her dog and go be with a lot of children she would hate? Oh no, she wouldn't go. I will be good with Miss Scott, she said. You have said that before, said mother. Miss Scott says she can't stay with you any longer, Elizabeth. It is true that you put earrings in her bed at last night. Elizabeth giggled. Yes, she said. Miss Scott is so frightened of them. It's silly to be afraid of earrings. It's easy. It is much sillier to put them into somebody's bed, said Mrs. Allen simply. You have been spoiled and you think you can do that what you like. You are only child and we love you so much, Daddy and I, that I think you have given too much many loving things and allowed you too much freedom. Mummy, if you send me to school, I shall be so naughty there that they will send me back home again, said Elizabeth, shaking her curl back. She was a pretty girl with laughing blue eyes, dark brown curls. All her life she had done as she liked. 6 governors has come and gone, but no one of them had been able to make Elizabeth obedient or good mannered. You can be such a nice little girl, they had all said to her, but all you think of is getting into mischief and being rude about it. And now, when she said that she would be so naughty at school that they would have to send her home. Her mother looked at her in despair. She loved Elizabeth too very much and wanted her to be happy. But how could she be happy if she did not learn to be as other children were? You have been alone too much, Elizabeth, she said. You should have had other children to play with and to work with. I don't like other children, said Elizabeth surlily. It was quite true she didn't like boys and girls at all. They were shocked at her mischief and rude ways, and when they said that they wouldn't join in her naughtiness, she laughed at them and said they were babies. Then they told her that they thought of her, and Elizabeth didn't like it. So now the thought of going away to school and living with other boys and girls made Elizabeth feel dreadful. Please don't send me, she begged. I really will be good at home. No, Elizabeth, said her mother. Daddy and I must go away for a whole year, and Miss Scott won't stay, and she could not expect to find another governess quickly before we go. It is best you go to school. You have a good brain, and you should be able to do your work well. Get to the top of that firm, then we shall be proud of you. I shan't work at all, said Elizabeth, putting I won't work a bit, and they will think I am so stupid they won't keep me. Well, Elizabeth, if you want to make things difficult for yourself, you will have to, said mother. Going up, we have written to Miss Bell and Miss Best who run Western School, and they are willing to take you next week. When we next turn when the new turn begins, Miss Scott will get all your things ready. Please help her all you can. Elizabeth was very angry and upset. She didn't want to go to school. She hated everybody, especially silly children. Mrs. Scott was hurried to say she wouldn't say. Suddenly Elizabeth wondered if she would stay, if she asked her very, very nicely. She ran to find her governess. Miss Scott was busy shaving Elizabeth's name on to pile up the brown stockings. Are these new stockings? Asked Elizabeth in surprise. I don't wear stockings, I wear socks. You have to wear stockings at Western School, said Miss Scott. Elizabeth stared at the pill and then she suddenly put her arms around Miss Scott's neck. Miss Scott, she said, stay with me. I know I am sometimes naughty, but I don't want to go you. When you really readily mean that you don't want to go to school, said Miss Scott. I suppose mother's been telling you. Yes, she has, said Elizabeth. Miss Scott, I won't go to school. Well, of course, if you are such a baby as to be afraid of doing what all other children do, then I have nothing more to say, said Miss Scott, beginning to sew another name on the brown stockings. Elizabeth stood up at once and stamped her foot. Afraid, she shouted, I am not afraid. Was I afraid when I fell off my pony? Was I afraid when our car crashed into the bank? Was I afraid when? Don't shout at me, please, Elizabeth, said Miss Scott. I think you are afraid to go to school and mix with obedient, well mannered, hard working children who are not spoiled as you are. You know quite well that you won't get your own way, that you would have to share nothing, everything, instead of having the things to yourself as you do now, and that you would have to be punctual, polite, obedient, and you are afraid to go. I am not, shouted Elizabeth. I shall go, but I shall be so naughty and lazy that they won't keep me, and then I will come back home, and you have to look after me again. So, here, my dear Elizabeth, I shan't be here, said Scott, said Mr. Stock. I am going to another family where I shall have two boys to teach. I am going to the day you go to school. So you can't come back home because I shan't be here. Your father and mother will be away and the house will be shut up. Elizabeth burst into tears. She sobbed so loudly that Miss Scott, who was really fond of the spoilt naughty girl, put her arms around her and comforted her. Now don't be silly, she said. Most children simply love school. It's great fun. You play games, you go for walk all together. You have the most lovely lessons and you will make such a lot of friends. You have no friends now and it is dreadful things not to have a single friend. You are very lucky. I am not, wept Elizabeth. Nobody loves me. I am very unhappy. The trouble is that people have loved you too much, said Miss Scott. You are pretty and merry and rich, so you have been spoilt. People like the way you look, the way you smile, and your pretty clothes, so they fuss you and pet you and spoil you instead of treating you like an ordinary child. But it isn't enough to have a pretty face and merry smile, you must have a good heart too. Nobody had spoken to Elizabeth like this before, and the little girl, was astonished. "I have got a good heart," she said, tossing her curls back again. "Well, you don't show it much," said Miss Scott. "Now run away, please, because I have got to count all these stockings and then mark your new vest and bodices." Elizabeth looked at the pile of the stockings. She hated them. Nasty brown things. She wouldn't wear them. She had take her stock to school and wear those if she wanted to. Miss Scott turned to chest of drawers and began to take out some vests. Elizabeth picked up two brown stockings and pinned them toes to toe. When she tiptoed to Miss Scott and neatly and quickly pinned them to her skirt, she skipped out of the room, giggling. Miss Scott carried the rest of the table. She began to count the stockings. Here should be 6 pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She counted. 5? Dear me, where is the 6? She looked on the floor. She looked on the chair. She was really wanked. She counted the pill again. Then she went to the door, looked for Elizabeth. The little girl was pulling something out of a cupboard on the landing. "Elizabeth," called Miss Scott sharply, "have you got a pair of your brown stockings?" "No, Miss Scott," said Elizabeth, making her eyes look around surprised. "Why?" "Because a pair is missing," said Miss Scott. "Did you take them out of this room?" "No, really, Miss Scott," said Elizabeth truthfully, trying not to laugh as she caught sight of the stocking swinging at Mrs. Scott's back. "I'm sure all the stockings are in room, Miss Scott." "Really? Then perhaps your mother has a pair," said Miss Scott. "I will go and ask her." Off marched and governess down the landing, the pinned brown stockings trailing behind her like a tail. Elizabeth put her head into the cupboard and squeaked with laughter. Some Mrs. Scott went into the mother's room. "Excuse me, Mrs. Allen," she said, "but have you one of the Elizabeth's new pair of stockings?" "I have only 5 pairs." "No, I gave you them all," said Mrs. Allen, surprised. "They must be together. Perhaps you have dropped them somewhere." Miss Scott turned to go, and Mrs. Allen caught sight of the brown stockings following Miss Scott. She looked at them in astonishment. "Wait, Miss Scott," she said. "What's this?" She went to Miss Scott and unpinned the stockings. The governess looked at Mrs. Allen. "Elizabeth, of course," she said. "Yes, Elizabeth," said Mrs. Allen. "Always is in mischief. I really never knew such a child in my life. It is high time she went to school. Don't you agree, Miss Scott?" "I do," said Mrs. Scott hurriedly. "You will see a different and much nicer child when you come back home again, Mrs. Allen." Elizabeth was passing by and heard that what her mother and her governess were saying. She hit the door with book. She was crying and shouted angrily, "You won't see me any different, mother. You won't. I will be worst." "You couldn't be," said Mrs. Allen in despair. "You really couldn't be